What's up, weebs? Welcome back to Anime Lane, the podcast where we take you down the yellow brick road of anime and have a look at everything it has to offer. On today's episode, we're going nuclear in Godzilla, directed by Ishiro Honda, written by Honda and Takeo Murata, music by Akira Ifukube, released in Japanese theatres October 27th, 1954. It is licensed in the US and UK via Criterion on its own or part of the Showa era collection set. Then we're getting our money's worth in Lupin, the third missed by a dollar, directed by Hideki Tonokatsu, written by Hiroshi Sakaibara, music by Yuji Ono, animation production by TMS. It aired on Japanese TV July 28th, 2000. It is licensed in the US by Discotek and is available on home media. As always, I'm your host, Notorious, and joining me, as always, is Shaun.
Hiya.
And Melina.
Hey.
That was really hard to get to. I feel really out of practice.
Yeah.
It has been a bit of a while. We've taken a little bit of a break.
Yeah, life just kept getting in the way of stuff.
Life.
So yeah,
Even more so than what happens during the holidays.
yeah, we had like 3 or 4 separate plans that all just
Slowly
to quote
crumbled apart.
Robert Burns,
Yeah.
the best laid plans of mice and men often go awry. I'm not going to say it in the original Scots.
Melted like the
Aw.
fucking ice caps.
I'm not saying it in the original Scots because I can't remember how it's pronounced. I know what it is, but I don't know how it's pronounced. But yeah, sorry, you were going to say something?
Me.
Yes, sorry, I'm
What?
pointing like we're in
Ooh.
person and we're not.
Yeah.
I'm just.
I was also
Yeah.
me.
We're online, so we don't have the
Wow.
physical sort of point thing. I don't think I was going to say anything.
Oh, okay. This is the fun
Wow.
part of also being out of practice and doing it online. Is we're like, oh no.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So we're back. We are finally tackling one of the most historic franchises to come out of Japan, with Godzilla. Are we going to start there, or are we going to start with Lupin? Which one are we?
I feel like it would be almost disrespectful to start with Lupin. I don't know.
We have to leave Godzilla. What's so important about it anyway?
Yeah. We'll get to that. We'll do that in the last.
What do
5
you mean
minutes.
there was an allegory? I didn't see anything.
No, I didn't see it anywhere.
Hey, I never know the thought process that might go into, let's leave the more
Yeah.
tonally serious stuff to the end, but no. Yeah, we'll start with Godzilla then.
Yeah.
Is this, I think, Melina, you're the only person who has watched this for the first time.
Mm.
Because Shaun and I have seen it previously. I've seen it a number of times.
Do you know the number?
I want to say 4 or 5. Nothing too major.
I thought it was more, but that's a reasonable amount.
Yeah,
I'd say.
it's not been like a long time since I first watched it. I think I probably first watched it in 2014, 2015. So not like a super long enough time to have seen it, 100 times.
Yeah.
I've probably seen the 1998 Roland Emmerich one more.
Wow.
You see, that's sad, but it makes sense because that movie kind of was everywhere for a little bit.
I had it on VHS growing up, so
Oh.
Yeah. Also, you say you didn't have enough time. That was still like over 10 years ago now.
yeah, but spreading out viewings of a very tonally serious film is something that you often do.
True.
Yeah, like let me just experience all this again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
For me, this is only my second viewing, and the first time I watched it, I think it was only 2021, 2022, I want to say.
Yeah, you watched it
Could have been
shortly
earlier,
after we watched the bad English dub of Terror of Mechagodzilla during lockdown.
That was in lockdown, yeah. That was.
Oh,
I'm gonna be honest, I
lockdown.
barely remember it because lockdown was a time,
Yeah.
and I was drinking quite a bit. Not gonna lie.
Mhm.
I've gotten better at dear listener, I promise. But yeah, so this is only my second rewatch, and it's been quite a while since then. So a lot of it I had kind of forgotten, just the general like structure and just
Yeah.
the actual plot point. So it was fun to actually like rewatch it again and have it fresh.
Mhm.
As a
Why
first
is it
time,
so much more serious than the sequels?
yeah. As a first time viewer, Melina, was it did it sort of like?
Mhm.
I feel like there's expectations going into something
Yes.
like this did it meet them, or did it sort of like conflict with your view of Godzilla as a whole? Because I feel the franchise view is very different.
Yeah.
I would like to ask, just like, did you come into this like sort of knowing it was like the sort of context around the first one specifically, or did you sort of assume it would be more like what goes on to be typically what you think of when it comes to Godzilla and like kaiju movies?
Well, I think we've spoken about it because you've seen a lot of them, you've talked about it, so I kind of know. Yes.
Yeah. There's an episode you can listen to all of that. Please go and see it right now.
And it's I'd say it's well known. People talk about it and like, it's. And I think the whole nuclear thing, like, bomb dropped, and this is kind of like showcasing a similar thing. I don't know how to put it, but it's like...
It's allegorical of what Japan went through.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think they try to tell you a little too much that it is.
I think it maybe comes off that way if... Like, I think most people kind of... You only know about the two bombs. Those are the big events, right? But this movie comes off the back of not just that, but a whole slew of, like, the US then trying to push Japan in the direction of, you're going to be our champions of nuclear energy. You went through one of the worst things that could have ever possibly happened. So we're also then going to make you the face of the clean energy initiative of nuclear energy. And then also, like, the fallout of incidents that Japan happened to get the kind of tail end of during like a lot of the big testing going on in the seas around Japan, like specifically the Castle Bravo tests, where like one of the most famous or one of the most infamous incidents is when like a whole boat crew, which is basically the start of the movie in this here,
heavily based on
sorry, you go.
Sorry. Sorry, I hate being on mic. I feel like I cut you off so much more. But like the incident at the beginning of the movie with like the boat crew, that is almost entirely lifted from like that real life event you're about to talk about. And like that thing I want to add in is I think that happened earlier the year the movie came out.
It happened in 53 or 54 recent. Itself, where a crew on the boat, I think called the Lucky Dragon 5, were out fishing, and unbeknownst to them, because they were out at sea for a couple of days, the initial cordoned off area for the fallout of a test that was going to be conducted was expanded to be much larger, and they ended up in that area and got like such a heavy dose of radiation that they were some of the first people to really be studied for long-term and like intense radiation effects. And like the actual story of one of the individuals who lived, I think, for 8 or 9 months with just his skin and organs and everything deteriorating is horrific. It's there's a book called Melting Sun that kind of details the whole story, as well as Japan's relationship with nuclear energy and stuff like that, and weapons as well. But yeah, I think the Western view of it is, Japan made this after being bombed by 2 of the most horrific detonations in human history.
Yeah. Because I didn't know the whole, the US kind of championing them forward. And I think in that sense, it makes more sense. And it feels a little less on the nose.
Yeah.
In that way as well.
Yeah.
Because to me, it just feels like, okay, I get it. He's supposed to represent a bomb that's just going to do whatever it wants.
Yeah.
So it makes more sense that they're then like, no, actually, this is how we should be looking at, nuclear tech. Like the eye patch guy, basically, who's like, I'm not letting people touch this. This is dangerous, and I know it, and we shouldn't be doing anything else with it.
The eye patch guy is almost like I guess a stand-in for like Robert Oppenheimer.
Yeah, basically. If he had the foresight to go, like, well, 1, he's not in a war, and 2, he's like, this is going to undoubtedly cause so much destruction. I just don't want to do this at all.
Yeah. For sure. Like, one thing that disappointed me a little, and, like, I was skimming some of the reviews after I watched it, was I don't get Godzilla's motivations.
he is just like a primal force of nature.
Yeah,
It's
'cause
something that becomes more codified in
I assumed
later
so.
movies. That like
It wasn't a narrative like priority because they went like, oh yeah, well historically like he would eat all the fish in the sea and then we had to sacrifice a girl. I'm like, oh, so food. He's gonna eat everyone. Okay,
Yeah,
fair
yeah.
enough. He wants to eat everyone, and then he did it. He just destruction only. I was like, so does he hate the humans because they bombed him, which I would get, but then that's also not it.
in this one, he is very much just sort of like, he has been awoken by, you know, that detonation.
Big bomb. Yeah.
And is pissed off, and Japan is the closest thing that he can take his rage out on, and he sees the humans as the. This is my interpretation. I want to add. I don't know how, concrete and solidified within discourse this is, but he sees humans as just like the evil. Yeah,
they are the cause of it.
Yeah, because he is later, and I want to say much later, because then it gets real goofy after the second movie. He becomes the god of destruction. I think that's something that's much more like solidified in the Heisei movies, which is the sort of like 80s movies. Whereas here it's like, he gets bombed and then is like, oh well, I'm pissed and I'm just gonna take it out on anyone.
You fucking arseholes, I'm gonna step on you. I think I
was looking for it. I don't know if, like, we're in such an age now where we're like, no, we need to understand our villains. Our villains almost need to be more likable than our heroes. I think maybe that in me was like trying to find like, no, I need to understand him. What is he thinking?
I think you could almost then take that as the social processing that Japan had to do after World War II of like, why did that happen? Why were those two bombs dropped? And why was such a intense amount of senseless loss, especially of innocent people? Because yes, Japan during World War II and prior were horrific. That can't be understated. However, the actual bombings themselves and their role within the war is heavily contested as to the necessity of such an act. And I think that that's something that this movie kind of puts on Godzilla as a like a motivationally confused thing, as like, but why did that happen? Why did that need to be necessitated?
Yeah.
This is also like a sort of different aspect to what we're talking about, but now that you've just sort of brought up that little thing, I had like a sort of surprising other possible interpretation to like Godzilla and his destruction, and specifically about, Serizawa. I think that's the doctor, right? Like the eye patch guy.
Yeah, Serizawa. I almost said Senezawa. Yeah. Different person altogether.
Nope. Yeah. Serizawa and his like decision to eventually use like the weapon at the end of the movie, the oxygen destroyer. I feel like that's a sort of way of like the film trying to like understand on a Japanese societal level, like from what you just said, like, Japan being like why it happened to them, but just in the sense that you could sort of view Godzilla himself as sort of like how Japan was in their like imperial stage, and how they just sort of were a very destructive force that like had to be stopped. And the film, I'm trying to word this in a way that doesn't sound awful, but like the film is trying to like explain a way where like, well, if this was happening to us, if we were the ones on the receiving end of such destruction, wouldn't we want to use like basically press a button to stop it as soon as possible before more people like suffered?
I think
like, what would we do in that position? Basically, I'm not sure how intentional that is, and it's just me putting my reading on it, but it's just something I thought about on this like watch through.
I don't know about intent, but I think the reading isn't incorrect, because when the Pacific theater of World War II was like gruesome. Like, yes, there was a large death toll to the European theater, and of course there's the Holocaust, which is a horrific thing. But a lot of the fighting itself was typical war fighting. It wasn't anything.
It was very
wholly
conventional.
New. It was conventional, whereas the
Yeah.
Pacific Front was island hopping, and the Japanese were like, you know, they got their rep for suicidal, you know, attacks, and not just with obviously kamikaze runs on the Air Force and stuff like that, but like the actual fighting on person to person was very, very like just it's almost the precursor to the guerrilla warfare that would become the main thing in Vietnam. Obviously, you know, like 40 years before, 20 years before that. But yeah, it was a very gruesome and intense conflict in a way that the European front wasn't. And so I guess maybe that is, whether intentional or not, that you could kind of see that the oxygen destroyer and the decision to use that as like a way of going, actually, if you were on the receiving end of such a senseless amount of violence, wouldn't you push the button that instantly stops it? So like I think that reading is fair if you take the historical context, and which
I think so.
A weird thing that you kind of have to constantly draw on a lot of historical context when watching this movie, and it's something that I think, you know, it's aged in a really great way where you can watch it and enjoy it as a film in and of itself, and it's, you know, the beginning of a whole school of filmmaking that doesn't really persist in the same way now, which is a shame. But there's also the fact of like, as we get further away from those events and education continues to slip, I think there's less of an inherent understanding of the historical context of which Godzilla exists in, and this is not really the conversation I expected to be having about this movie, oddly enough. I didn't expect it to be so intense in the aspect of history itself.
No, I think its history is what makes it work.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
100%.
in like
which is
the blood of
it's
the
a
entire
weird
film.
It's a weird thing to say, because if I look at it just as a film, if it came out now, I would say it's not very good. Like, narratively, its pacing is like, I'm not even talking about like,
but like the context really heightens it to something
Yeah,
that's like
no,
much more than
absolutely.
just big monster goes around city destroying things.
yeah, like, of course, I think for its time, like, it looked fantastic. Absolutely, that I would never fault it at. But like, I have no clue who the main character of this movie is.
It's sort of a bit of an ensemble cast, really. I don't think there's a specific sort of focal character. I think that's the biggest detriment to the movie overall, is that there is no one guy or one person, and I think that's sort of the cue. Having gone through my big Godzilla marathon a year or so ago, almost 2 years ago now actually, is something that watching this now with -1 a bit more clear in my mind, is that there's a lot of stuff that they directly like homage in that movie, but also they very much clearly learned a lot of lessons specifically from that movie in the storytelling aspect of it, where it's like, no, we need like a grounding focal character to get the emotional investment in it. But I think that's no, I was gonna say I think that's maybe meant to be the whole point of like showing the despair of it, but despair is also a very individual feeling too. So my point doesn't make sense if I frame it like that. Oops. But no, I think that's what I mean, is like -1 very clearly learned the lesson of this movie of like, no, we need like one character.
That's that was like, because I was kind of hoping for like the paleontologist, like, okay, we were kind of leaning towards him being the one, then maybe I think his daughter, I think it was.
He has a daughter who's engaged to Serizawa, but then she sort of starts a thing with the reporter guy.
It's kind of hard to tell actually, because we don't, throughout the whole time scale of the movie, we don't actually see any time where Emiko and Serizawa are actually like together. It's always sort of like a beforehand thing, and Emiko sort of implies that she never really had any feelings for him to begin with, even though
Yeah.
the start of the movie was that Sarazar was going to be the paleontologist's future son-in-law. So
Yeah, because
it's
they're
kind of
like,
confused on where that was standing.
Yeah.
I guess
Mhm.
it's maybe that sort of archaic, the betrothed thing where it's less
Yeah.
a point of decision for the woman and more a decision of the patriarch of the family.
Yeah.
Because obviously, again, to draw on the historical side of it, I guess Japan were just sort of coming out of that imperialistic, feudalistic structure
bit, yeah.
that they've never
Mhm.
fully shaken off to this day.
No.
I won't get into that because I feel like that's then
Yeah,
getting
that's a
into
whole other
too-
conversation.
That's a whole nother
Yeah, too
thing.
weedy.
Come back next week for that conversation.
Oh yeah, we're gonna study so much on that. Tune in next time where we talk about Silent Hill F and its themes.
It's one thing to talk about historical context where you can look at it from a somewhat objective standpoint, and then there's societal context and cultural context, and you're like, maybe I won't.
maybe I'm not the right person.
Yeah,
to.
not my lived experience, so I don't feel like I can comfortably explain or comment.
All we can really say is, yep, it was the 50s.
It was the 50s. Yeah.
Because
But
I
to
do
go
think
on
it's
to, like-
nice. Oh, you go ahead.
You go.
Sure.
No, you go.
Okay.
I was
I
about to just bring it back, but you go.
I want to say that you can really tell that there's some bits of like what we now see as typical of big monster movies. I'll just call them.
Yeah, kaiju.
Where like, oh, we tried this. Oh my god, it doesn't do anything. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
There's
there's like 4 or 5 of those moments where like, we got him. We got him.
No, you didn't.
there is a formula that they continue for the next like 4 or 5 movies in this
Fantastic.
movie. Raids Again is also is like a good follow-up. But it's essentially like trying similar, if not the exact same things they try in this movie and going, oh fuck, it didn't work. Like, their immediate plan in this movie is like, oh, don't worry, we're gonna build this giant fence and we're gonna electrify it, as if he's a giant cow.
How did we build it so fast? Shut up.
Don't worry about it. I also love how like Japanese centric it is, because I feel like if we were to make films like this nowadays, it's always like, oh, we have to call in like the Americans, we have to call in the Russians. But here, at some point, they're like, the white men are here, and they never show up again.
That's
and I kind of love it.
That's funny. Yeah.
I guess that's
like, we don't need them. We'll figure this out. Don't worry about it.
The Heisei era does deal with that a little bit, and because the Heisei era was like the height of the Cold War style movies, and like Return of Godzilla immediately is like, oh shit, there's the Russians and American vying immediately. One of them's got a satellite that's going to destroy shit, and all this wild plot shenanigans. Whereas like for most of the Showa era, I think it was the period of time where the US had just sort of stepped back and didn't really care, whereas it wouldn't be until much later where, with the solidification of the GSDF and the American Japanese dynamic, where you would have the sort of like almost intervention unwillingly so of the US side
all
of
right,
stuff.
boys, we'll take care of this one.
Yeah, you're clearly incompetent, you little shit, and we're gonna step in and deal with this for you. But yeah, I think this was prior to all of that sort of stuff going on, which is it makes it kind of novel in a way where it's like, this is just Japan. It's not, people coming in and going, actually, we are the white men, we will do much better than you.
Have you tried shooting it?
We have. It didn't work.
Have you tried a second time?
No.
Let's go, boys.
We have tried missiles, but all of them missed and hit the ocean instead. I love that
Yeah.
scene. Every single missile goes past them because they don't want to damage the suit with whatever they're using for missiles on the
I mean,
set.
at some point, does a Godzilla just yeah,
Yeah,
yeah?
it's
Because it was impossible to move in that thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just love the little slap of the wrist, basically. No, yeah.
I
Because there are
also I
some
gotta
things
bring
that
up.
must be comical in that fucking suit. It's like,
Oh,
we
yeah.
can't do that. That looks fucking hilarious. You can't do
It's
that.
it's a whole story, but the thing I want to bring up just before we like sort of move on from the whole American thing is now is the only time I think I can bring up the American re-edit that released
Oh, yeah.
2 years
Heard of
after
it.
this film,
Mhm.
called with the subtitle Godzilla King of the Monsters,
Which is
not
where
the
we
2020.
get the title King of the Monster, because it never comes up in any of the Japanese movies. But,
No.
you know, that's sort of become a lasting legacy thing for him.
But I said it was funny earlier when you said they don't point to like a white man to say they'll take in the problems, because all what that film mainly does is add in an American actor, like interspliced with the scenes from the actual movie to just go, what's going on here? What's happening here? What are they doing now? What are we doing? They're not quite at the point where like they can go, well, I better call my boys over here and see if we can sort this thing out. He's just sort of observing there to be the
What
American
strange
character
choice.
to center things.
Because God forbid an American audience watch the Japanese film.
Absolutely not. Go fuck
look,
yourself.
I have a whole like thing that we're gonna be a while before getting a -1, but I'm gonna bring this up now because there's still new comments coming out about -1 from American and like Western filmmakers. I think Nolan was the most recent one where he kind of said something, and I'm like, man, -1 is such like a lovingly crafted film from not just a standpoint of a Godzilla movie, but from like a small team of people who made a very VFX heavy movie in a time where movies are being lambasted for, you know, just awful visuals.
Yeah.
And they made something incredibly well rounded and well crafted, and the lasting impact it's had for like a lot of Western commentary from like at least the critics and filmmaker standpoint and the industry standpoint, I suppose, is yeah, there's now just 3 good Godzilla movies. You know, it's not moved the needle on like a reappraisal of, you know, that sort of school of filmmaking. It's just sort of like, yeah, there's just 3 of them now instead of 2, the other 2 being Godzilla and Shin Godzilla. So, you know, it kind of bugs me a little bit because the Godzilla franchise is a bit of a treasure trove to discover, from the fact that the Showa era just becomes Godzilla throwing hands with other guys in rubber suits for 90 minutes, and that's fun, and I don't think that we should dismiss that out of hand because it's sort of goofy, you know.
I think it's a whole subgenre that kind of needs to be respected in a way, because you know, it's like, you know, your classic rom-com, so to say. There's an art to it. Every like specific type of movie has an art to it. Even if you think, oh, stupid superhero movie, this or that, there's still an art to it. There's good ones, there's bad ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think the same just counts for this. We just don't see them much more nowadays, I think.
No, we really don't. Like, Godzilla's really the only one persisting on. I mean, Gamera's last movie was in the 90s. No, 2004 or 5 or something like that. Yeah. And even, like, Gamera, when it started as a Japanese production in the Showa era as well, which I guess should clarify, Showa era is basically the 1950s to the 1970s.
In terms of film, the actual era in Japanese history goes on quite longer, but you know.
I mean, Showa is just post World War II to the 70s.
I thought it encompassed the entire reign of Hirohito.
No, because I think
like in Japanese history,
no.
Isn't that
so
what it's named?
No. Okay, so the way Japanese era works is the reign of the emperor, and Hirohito was deposed after. Wasn't he deposed after
World
War II? Was he not? I always think he was deposed. So
no,
that's my fault.
They specifically kept him.
So yeah, it would have been his whole reign whenever that started. I can't remember. Anyway, not my point.
Sorry.
the in the Showa era of Gamera, they sort of fundamentally understood what a kaiju movie was too. And the first Gamera movie, which was 10 years after Godzilla, sort of tries it puts on the air of being a tonally serious movie with something to say, but doesn't, because it doesn't have that historical bite that Godzilla does. And then they spent the rest of the Showa era going, oh yeah, kids like this, so let's make it kids movies, like specifically geared towards kids, with that funky, funny little music that they like too, that's just annoying as shit. And let's put an American kid in all of them, because sure, why not?
Why not, I guess.
Either they can act or they can't deliver Japanese. It's one or the other. never both. And so it wasn't until like the late Heisei era where Gamera then understood it. And then I think since, this turn of the millennium, you don't really it's like TV is the only avenue that this still really exists in, and it really only exists through Ultraman at this point. Like, that's kind of it.
Yeah.
At least in the sense of kaiju productions in the same scale. There's Tokusatsu, which is, I guess, the whole genre that kaiju come under, which it just means like effects or special effects program in Japanese, and it's like the whole school of filmmaking of Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, which become Power Rangers, obviously Ultraman and Godzilla then count on it too. So it's like, that like focus on special effects, but people in costumes and rubber suits and all this sort of stuff, and it has sort of just become relegated to kids TV or just TV in general, and like that's kind of sad. Like, I think we need to come back to that as like a big production thing, just
I agree.
make another Godzilla movie with a guy in a rubber suit. That's all I want to see.
Absolutely, yeah.
What about a movie about the guy in a rubber suit?
That I would actually watch that.
So, look, I would fucking love that.
I think the entire Showa era was the same guy playing Godzilla.
See, his life.
It was also like the same suit for a while. I'm not sure if it was like the exact 54 suit, but like for a good stretch they used the same suit, and you can see it sort of deteriorating as some of the movies go on.
I think the Showa era used the same suit for pretty much its entire. Outside of the first movie, because I think they lost, or the first suit was burned or something like that, and then they remade it for like Raids. I think Raids again uses the same suit. Then there's King Kong versus Godzilla, which uses a different suit because the original one was damaged or something. And then it's like the whole way through same suit, and then it would kind of become like every movie would have a different suit after that. So there's like no consistent look, even there's sort of like an iconic look taken from the Heisei era in there. It
would make sense that like the first suit wouldn't be the one that kept going on, because again, I mentioned it already, it was infamously so hard to work in and like moving. Like, there were stories of like the main actor could only be in it for a few minutes at a time, otherwise he would like faint because it got so hot.
Well, yeah.
And it was like, it was so impossible to move in, which is why, that sort of slap thing you mentioned earlier, Melina, happened. One of my favorite parts is when he just has one of the train cars in his mouth, and then he just sort of drops it menacingly. Like, he goes, yeah. Effective, but also funny.
Yeah. Anyone got any points to move on to? Because like we've been on the historical element, I think, for quite a while now.
Just sort of
I've had my whole narrative point. I've made my point.
I think I do want to say, just to, I guess, sort of still focusing on like the historical thing. I think because it's been so detached a little bit to us watching it now, I did get a sort of dissonance when like I knew the historical context. I knew how serious this film is. But then when it actually got to the scenes of him fucking up Tokyo, I was like, yeah, Godzilla, fucking get him, step on him, just here comes the fire breath, yeah! And I was like, I shouldn't be cheering this on, so it feels weird to, given, how serious this is, but at the same time, big monster destroying shit makes me happy.
I think it's that tonal conflict of like what Godzilla would become later, is it's like, it didn't take long for him to become a heroic figure. That was a Showa era invention. I think pretty much after Mothra versus Godzilla, which was only the fourth movie, he kind of
Fourth, I
became
wanna say,
heroic for the rest of that stretch of time, because it was just after that you would have the introduction of King Ghidorah, who would become his like main rival antagonist, and he would be the one defending humanity. And so it's that sort of weird dichotomy of occasionally they swing back round and they make a movie where he is the god of destruction again, and he is the antagonistic being that is reaping destruction, and then you'll swing back almost immediately again in the next movie and he's the good guy. Well, maybe not good, maybe like anti-hero, like a sort of
he's helping us for now.
Yeah.
I think it's basically, yeah, when you bring up King Ghidorah, that's basically the point where the series goes, oh shit, aliens exist.
Yeah.
We gotta fuck them up.
Like the first movie with King Ghidorah, and I can never remember if it's Invasion of Astral Monster or the other title that's escaping my mind.
Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. I think it's Invasion of Astral Monster that might come first, because technically that's like anyway. I've lost my point.
Fully derailed.
Yeah, fully derailed.
Tonal dissonance.
Yeah. That whole first movie is like a James Bond-esque, like for the human characters, flick where they're like...
No, I felt that, yeah.
Having to like, infiltrate the aliens and, it's a weird thing of like, okay, not only is Godzilla a good guy now, we've got this whole shift and like, oh, we're just doing whatever the fuck story-wise now, you know? So I think
it's sort of like the fact that like the first movie feels a lot more like what we'd think of as a disaster movie.
Yeah.
Then like, come on, or like a very early disaster movie, whereas the rest are full on kaiju movies where they're fighting each other and just, it's WWE but with guys in rubber suits.
Yeah. That is essentially what Showa becomes, and it does not take long to reach that point. But I guess like most of them are like much later, because most of the movies were coming out in like the 70s, like late 60s, early 70s. So there was like a 10-year divorce from that time, and as we know, like decades can prove a huge dissonant factor in history. But yeah, I don't think I've got much to say on the actual movie itself, because I've seen it that many times. I'm like, I don't know what I can actually say about it at this point that I haven't said to someone in the past. And when I say something, that's it. It's like, it's out my mind.
Yeah.
Never to be restored.
Do you have anything you want to say, Melina, that you off the top of your head?
One thing I did want to note was that I was a little disappointed in the music.
It's
they have 3 pieces.
Yeah.
And they use them not tied to character, theme, location, or anything. So it was just so repetitive at some point. Because I watched with Manuel, who was also like, again?
Yeah.
Again?
It's an interesting thing where it's technically 3 separate pieces, but I think it's one sweep. So it's one sweeping composition of music. And the way it's used in the movie is very interesting, because we now know it as Godzilla's theme. That da-da-dun, da-da, and it's shifted. The actual implication, usage, and tone of it is very different now. When you see it in the original movie, you actually see it's more of a military march. It's more of the heroic, like, here's the military going to stop
exactly
the monster. So it's much more upbeat.
3 times.
Yeah. And then it's not until the end where you get like the most sort of like, I think, well, no, all the pieces are well crafted. That's not what I mean, but like the final
most
piece,
fitting.
And I think it works the most emotionally because it's so different from what we hear before, and it's such a it's fitting, but also I think shows the like, there they've killed this giant threat to them, and yet here's this really sad piece of music playing over it, which is for Serizawa, but there's also the implication of like they've taken a life and they can never go back from that, and I think that's really interesting. The rest of the music, it became better as it went on, but here, there's a very small amount of music, and it is a bit frustrating.
Shout out to Prayer for Peace, by the way, that like at the end point was like very conveniently put in at that point in the movie to give Serizawa that, all right, I'll do it.
Yeah. Weird connection is that was also then used in a movie called Hiroshima, which was directly about the bombing of Hiroshima, made I think the year before this or the year after.
Definitely around the same time, because you've watched it sort of recently.
I watched it at the beginning of last year.
Recently.
It was I think either the first or second movie I watched in 2025.
God damn.
Yeah. It's an okay movie. It's nothing great. It is emotionally effective in certain moments, but I do not think enough time had passed to effectively communicate what the film was trying to communicate. I think it was still too recent to that time. Plus, I don't think like special effects were quite mature enough to also then portray what it was trying to portray. And you know, it's that sort of thing where Godzilla comes up against it too. Is it's like you watch it now, and like even if you were, a lot of people say this, you know, when it comes to VHS and stuff, and it's like these were theatrical productions. These were seen in theaters, and so they're what we think of for VHS and DVD, we cannot compare to what would have been seen going and watching it on a big screen projected from a 35mm film print back in the day that it was brand new, where it would have looked pristine. So it sort of has an aged look in the sense of you can tell it's models, you can tell it's a guy, you know, roaming around in a set built to be destroyed, and so it feels a bit weightless at times because it hadn't quite reached the maturity point of like convincingly rendering Tokyo in a miniature format, and even, you know, now where you can just render it in CGI and make it far more convincing even than the scale models were back in the day.
I hate to say it, every time it cut to like one of the miniature vehicles like running along, or like the little helicopter, I had the Thomas the Tank Engine theme playing in my head every time, and I was like, this I feel so bad because it's not this movie's fault that's what I associate that with, but it's happening. There's
clearly in between the like black and white era and color era of these movies, they very much got in people who were heavily interested in military technology because they look far more convincing in later movies. And it's one thing that Gamera never shook, is it always had, and that was in color from the second movie on, and there's just, you know, very Thomas the Tank cars and vehicles driving around, and it's like, oh, I can't take this seriously.
Percy, no.
They said poot poot to him as they drove past.
I'm going to poop poop at Henry. What?
Yeah, boosh. No, I'm sorry, I can't go into a Thomas tangent here.
Don't.
That will be a very special episode of this podcast one day. It's gonna happen. I can feel it.
I don't think I've got anything more to say on Godzilla. I feel like it's something where we could probably pick on different subjects and go off on it for a while, just because it is so historically rich in the context that it comes from, and there's various angles that you can kind of look at it from. But we will move on to Lupin, because we've been talking about this movie for 45 minutes.
I only have two things I do want to say. Sorry, I won't. I'll try not to make this too long. One, shout out to the radio tower scene where all the film crew just don't make any attempt to move whatsoever as Godzilla's coming
Yep.
towards them.
Yep.
And it's just like, oh dear, this is the end.
Oh
Goodbye,
dear,
everyone.
this is not good. This is
Don't
real,
you dare
people.
move.
This is
We're going to
real.
die like this.
To be fair, they are up at the near top of a radio tower.
They chose to go there.
Try.
Yeah, sure, but they can't get down in time to not die too. So like, I get.
Yeah, but like survival instinct has to take over on some
I would've
they're
level.
jumped.
committed. They're committed to
Jump.
coverage. You know,
Jump.
they're committed to the job.
It was the 50s. You just died with dignity. And the second thing is just very briefly, I want to talk about like maybe my one main criticism from like a narrative perspective. Because of that whole like problem where like there's no central main character that's like a point for like the human side of the movie. The the paleontologist character kind of, you think he's going to go through a character arc of not wanting to like harm Godzilla, but as the destruction goes on he changes his mind. No, he just gets dropped in like the third act until like the very end.
He's on the boat and that's it.
Yeah, he's
but, like,
there.
He has a character that like you feel like they're setting up the arc, and then he just gets dropped for the movie for a good third of it, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess he's just not needed anymore. And that felt sort of blatant, especially on this like second watch through for me. I was like, oh, they just didn't know what to do.
I think one of the odd decisions is having the reporter guy be the one to convince Serizawa.
Yeah.
Because, like you say, it feels like the paleontologist, whose name is escaping me, like it feels like he's gonna have the character arc of doesn't want to kill Godzilla, sees the scientific value in him as a being, and then has to come to the realization of like, no, this is a decision of survival. This is a decision of like remaining alive and the preservation of the human race, and then has to come to the decision of let's kill him. And so it would have made more sense for him, having gone through that arc, to then be the one to convince Serizawa to you know to be the one conveying that message instead of cutting to a TV presentation of people singing.
It feels like he had the more interesting conflict for the humans as well, compared to the fucking love triangle they were trying to do with like the other three. Because like his whole thing is like, this is a creature of study. We can't kill it. The best we can do is just find out like how it is and how we can like maybe find out the whole radiation immunity thing. And everyone else was like, sir, he's murdering people in like by the thousands or like the hundreds at least. We can't let him live.
We do not know the kill count because it's too fucking high. And you're like,
he is actively destroying the city. We can't just let him live. I'm sorry.
He'll just stop. He'll stop soon. I think he'll stop soon.
Yeah. What if we just try talking to him? He can't speak. He just roars.
It's something
That's my final.
Yeah, I'll quickly amend to that. I greatly appreciate the I think it's the Heisei era having one consistent character throughout all of those movies.
Oh, that's good.
That you really get like to attach to, because she has like a whole character arc of like hating Godzilla, and then like, because again at the beginning of the Heisei they reflipped it back to him being destruction and you know all that sort of stuff. And then gradually as the Heisei era goes on, King Ghidorah comes back up, then you've got Space Godzilla and Destroyer, and so like it's, you know, you have that shifting of antagonist into at the very least an anti-hero. And so you see the character arc of this girl character whose name escapes me because I haven't watched the movies in over a year, going through that of like hating Godzilla, wanting to kill him, but then by the end of it understanding the necessity of Godzilla as a being. I keep calling him a being because I don't know what else to call him half the time.
He is a Godzilla.
Oh, I guess I should talk about that. a big thing about kaiju back at the beginning was they were just named after animals with the character Ra added onto the end of it to make it a name. So Gojira comes from, well, gorilla, and I think whale.
Yeah.
I can't remember how that works. Don't ask. It's the goal from gorilla, and I think the G comes from the Japanese for whale. I might be misremembering that.
The story I heard is that originally the name came from a nickname from some guy at the studio who was, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he was just sort of a pretty big guy. He was like a producer or something, and so he got the nickname of Goji, or like something like, or maybe even just straight up Gojira, as like gorilla and whale. And then they were just like, hey, let's just call the monster that.
I've never heard that story, so I can't really attest to that.
I could be wrong. That could be misinformation, but I heard that like through like, you know, through the internet, and that the internet would never lie to me. So
no, it could never do that. No.
So yeah, you would see it with Godzilla, who in the original Japanese is called Gojira. Then you would have Mothra, who we just, you know, that name didn't change. But then there's just Rodan, who in the original Japanese is called Radon, as in the nuclear measurement.
Oh.
You know?
Okay.
But they called him Rodan in English. Don't know why. Doesn't make sense. Then you come to Gamera, who's called Gamera, but he's a giant turtle. But they were like, we can't call him Camera, because it sounds like camera, the English word. So let's just add a G to the front. Because Kami...
It's fine.
Like Godzilla!
Because Kami in Japanese is turtle. To all those people who watch Dragon Ball, maybe don't have the media literacy to pick up on the fact that all of the mentions of Kami reference to turtles, because Master Roshi is the turtle master, and I don't know. I don't get it either. It's, you know...
Yeah.
Journey to the West, I'm sure it makes sense if you've read that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, Lupin. Scores, yeah, I forgot.
Finally, we gotta move. Not yet, Michael. I know we want to move on, but we gotta end it right.
So out of practice at this point, I forgot.
My goodness.
It's been too long.
Yeah.
I'll start.
Yeah.
When my first initial reaction after watching it, I was a little disappointed, so I initially wrote down a 6.5, but I've highered it now to a 7.5.
Okay. A full point.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm not a big fan of big monster. I don't know what to tell you. It's not my thing.
And that's why you're wrong.
Yeah. We know that you don't like big giant robots and you don't like giant monsters. So like
big men.
Yeah, big men. I heard that was gonna come out first.
I almost said big men in costumes and went, that makes no sense.
Oh.
And I also thought you were about to say you don't like fun.
Well, you didn't like Promare, so we know that you don't like fun.
Correct.
But no, I understand that. Like, I perfectly get it. If it's not a type of movie that you like enjoy on a base level, like I get it. It doesn't matter how good it is. It's just, you know, it's only going to entertain so much. Personally, 10 out of 10.
I get that.
Yeah, it's evolved over the years from, I think from the first viewing, I kind of went,
it's fine.
Yeah.
Cool.
And you know, now it's gradually went up to a 10.
Yeah. I gotta agree. I gotta echo that statement. Even though I do have some criticisms on like a narrative level and stuff like that, as I've just discussed, it feels. It's one of those movies where I feel like because of the historical context, because of everything sort of around it, and just it feels like so much more, where like the narrative to me doesn't, I mean the narrative matters, but like what the actual message isn't really like the human characters and all that stuff. It's just, you know, what Godzilla is and what the whole allegory is about. So it sort of heightens that for me, where I feel like I gotta give it a 10. And it deserves that 10.
I think I should also state the little personal thing for me is that maybe most people who listen to the podcast, even if they've listened to the Godzilla episode, don't know that I have a very odd obsession with nuclear energy and nuclear history and that sort of thing. So for me, this is also a movie where I'm like, yeah, the historical thing of it is fantastic.
It's like itching your brain in that nice little way.
Especially as like I learn more because it is such a complex and complicated topic. That
it's your special interest.
It is my special interest, and you know, I lament that. I lament that it was used in the way it was used, that it was forced on the Japanese to be the champions of clean energy, and then, you know, stuff later with the whole Cold War and the Soviets and Chernobyl, and there's not been too many actual incidents, there's not been too much direct actual loss of life. It is one of the safest forms of energy that we have produced, and the actual statistics of per annum and per decade and like even millennia long statistics is that it's I can't fucking get the word out.
Infinitively,
I don't think that's it. Infinitesimally. I don't know if that's a word.
That's a new one to me, but
safer than coal or gas or all the other fossil oil, all the other fossil fuels that we use,
especially the ones that are being developed in the current day and age.
Yes. And the energy yield of it is far higher than even what we can do with clean energy now, and yet because of self-interest on the fact of the United States and the USSR, we have ended up in the position of it being vilified and demonized. And in one regard, I do get it, because the actual incidents that have happened have been pretty horrific, but there's only been 2 of them overall, and I don't think that should have scared us away from it entirely. It should have been the thing of like, no, we need to
a learning moment.
It should have been learning moments. Like, weirdly enough,
the whole danger of like, but sometimes as tech connections once put it.
Yeah, like the thing that gets me about the 2011 Japan one specifically, Fukushima, is that the area is still cordoned off now, but is safe. The actual after effects of what happened from Fukushima are so negligible that it should not. I'm not an authority on this, so don't take what I say as gospel. It should not.
We're not like experts. We should state.
To me, from what I know, from what I've learned, I don't think it should be categorized on the same level as Chernobyl. They are the only 2 level 7 incidents in history of nuclear energy, and yet for some reason, Fukushima is put on the same level when comparatively it was disastrous. And was entirely preventable, as was Chernobyl, but it was not anywhere near as catastrophic or life-threatening as Chernobyl was, and yet for some reason it's put on the same level and demonized in the same way, and so it means that we've largely globally very much been scared away from employing it, and I wonder where we would be in an energy and environmental sense if we had actually committed and stuck the course with nuclear energy. Sorry, that was, I just had to like
now to Lupin, and it's
so political. Get up in your soapbox and get so political, and especially about my favorite non-political, completely detached movie, Godzilla, 1954.
Before Godzilla went woke.
You see, his atomic breath is pink now, and that's because of the trends.
We need to move on.
Yes, we need to move on.
Lupin has been waiting in his corner for like an hour now.
Lupin the Third.
This is one of the most classic Lupins. I will put it in that category.
It's
my god,
really strong vibes for this one. Oh god,
yeah.
I just wish it had stuck to New York for the whole thing.
God, does it get boring the second we leave?
Yes, yeah.
Yep.
As soon as it
Yeah.
becomes about oil barons and
Yep.
you know, the global conflict and predicting the war on terror, I immediately just
Yep.
lost
Yeah.
interest because I'm like, oh, you got
Yeah.
so much right just a year before all that shit kicked off. But man, nothing's happening.
You're not really doing much with it, are you?
And but the counter back, we got another Adolf Hitler.
Yeah.
Why does it
You
keep
gotta
fucking
forget.
happening?
Mr. was right there. Did we need him
this
for
is
the
also
plot?
a-
Absolutely
No,
not.
did we need to portray him? Because we didn't portray Stalin,
No.
or no, Lenin, sorry. We didn't portray Lenin. Did we need to portray
they did.
Hitler?
They did.
Oh, did they? I must have missed
They
it.
Lenin,
did
yeah,
for Lenin and
for a second.
Napoleon. Yeah, he was there.
Just a second.
Oh,
He
it's
was awesome.
always the same three. It's always.
Yeah, I got to contest. They built up that the whole like the brooch thing has been around
brooch
for like
flower,
so
yeah.
long and it's been all across the world. The furthest back they go is like 2 centuries.
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
just 3 guys from Europe.
Yup. All across the world. Like,
You know, Russia,
Red.
Germany, and France. That's the world.
To be fair, if we're talking in an imperialistic sense, yeah.
yeah.
But come on, if you're gonna
Come
have
on.
something this mystical and this powerful and bring up its whole like history thing, you gotta go at least back to like
Yeah.
to like the Romans
Yeah.
at least.
I agree.
That would have made like a second mention of Caesar. I think he's only been mentioned once in a Lupin. Napoleon's been
so,
mentioned
yeah.
like 3 times too, but
But he's
he's
not been
comparatively not as
Yeah.
bad a thing to mention as Hitler.
No.
Or Stalin or Lenin, because those have both been
Yeah.
brought up before too. And almost in the
Yeah.
same order, there was another Lupin where they pretty much did the same kind of scene as they did
Yeah.
here and listed
Was it
Hitler.
Mamo?
I
I
can't
think
remember
it
if
was Momo.
it might have been Mao, but I
Yeah.
feel like it was sort of like recently that we came across this too. Maybe it's just happened more than once. You know, maybe it's
'Cause he-
happened.
Probably.
You know,
My mom was sitting next to me while I was watching it, and he asked, "Have you seen this
yeah,
before?"
like they did Hitler, and then I was like, oh,
Yeah.
of course. And then they went Lenin, and I went, wait. And then
Oh.
they went Napoleon, and I went, hold on.
Oh, that way. We're going
I was
that
like, I'm
okay.
pretty sure this happened last time, but with Stalin.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You can't keep getting away with it.
Also, what I love is that I think this is one of the few times that we're not looking for treasure.
yeah,
money.
it's not like an actual.
He's in it for the
hunt.
love of the game.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Mm.
Man,
I
it's just like,
love
yeah.
that so much where he's like, oh no, I just everybody else is going for it, so I might as well go as well.
Yeah, like I promised this girl that if I got it, I'd give it to her. And
Who
like,
just happens to be the daughter of a dictator. Did he know that? Do you think he knew that?
I think
I don't think he cared.
no. I don't think he asked. Man does not ask follow-up questions.
No.
No. God, that basically describes him to a T. He doesn't ask follow-up questions. He just does the thing that he does.
He saw a blonde, dark-skinned woman and was like, dab. That was it.
Dab.
No
Yeah.
questions.
Oh,
Whatever
yeah.
you want, girl. Whatever you want. I think it just
I'll steal that
hits-
for you.
Yeah. Like, we get the stupidest fucking B plot mentions that I just love. Goemon's almost in a cult.
Yeah, Goemon joins a cult. One of the fucking like letterboxd reviews I saw for this after I put my own in was just one person saying the one where Goemon joins a cult.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with
She loves
anything.
me. She loves me. I know she does. Like,
Yeah, she-
Goemon,
I-
it's a cult.
She talks
That's
to
how
me
they
all
get
the
you.
time, and she
how they
stares
get
at me
you.
so
She's a
intently when we
priest.
talk. She loves me.
Goemon gets inducted into a cult. Fujiko keeps getting got by the finance bros.
Yeah. Yeah,
Can I
Fujiko's
say-
broke for once.
Yeah. This
Can
is not...
I just say this?
You go.
You go. Okay. I was gonna say the Fujiko most of the time she's not as bad as she has been before in some of the movies, but this is also not one of our smartest like outings. In
No.
these, like
That's what I
I
was
found
gonna
it
say.
so refreshing. And I
Yeah.
kind of loved it.
you know what? I get that.
Yeah, I get it on one hand because like I did find it like entertaining, but I'm also like that ain't my Fujiko. That's not
No,
Yeah.
that's
fair.
not my strong,
Yeah.
independent, smart as
Yeah.
fuck Fujiko. Like,
Yeah.
we've seen her
I
done dirty.
kind of resented it a little by the end.
This felt personal. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
I just love the moment where she shows up at the funeral and she took a fucking taxi from LA.
Yeah.
and my mind is of course like, oh, Japanese people don't know how distances work. And then later in the movie she does it again. But from San Francisco to New York.
That's
I'm
just
like,
Fujiko.
girl, the planes are right there.
There's no time.
And this taxi driver that's like, this sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna get so much money.
Yeah. I don't know, because it was just I'd say a slightly different movie. I think we didn't need her to be kind of like all knowing and all that.
Yeah,
I would have liked her to be a bit smarter, but I like the silliness of it as well.
Yeah, it kind of...
She does get her badass moment, I will say, like at the end of the movie when she saves Goemon. And I'm gonna say that's her best look in the whole movie with that sort of battle suit thing that she's got.
Yeah.
I think
it's better than you go.
No. I was just gonna say, I think it's because of the sort of story it's telling. She didn't require the same amount of agency that I think we sort of expect out of her most of the time. So like, for her to just sort of be sidelined or dumb as fuck as she is in this one it feels less egregious as it has done in the past, where like we've watched, you know, either Mamo or you know, one of the other ones where she's been particularly badly written. It's always felt like, oh damn, you just didn't really utilize a great character very well. Whereas here it sort of felt like you intentionally crafted a narrative in a way to be funny in the utilization of this version of the character. Like, there was a clear intent, I think, here with it.
Yeah, it's the difference between like, oh, they couldn't be bothered doing her well in like those few times, whereas here it's like, oh, we're catching her on a very off week. She's not doing great.
You know, we've all been there.
We can't be on top of it all the time. She's human.
She's just a girl.
Yeah, she's just girly. Let her have this. And the fucking stupid ass bank heist that they're like, what if we just go up? Like, we just cut our way up. How will we escape? Balloon. But how are we gonna get the balloon outside? We're just gonna carve a hole all the way from the
do your thing.
Activate.
See, that is what I want. I want it to be stupid. I loved when Lupin died. I was like, I'm fucking living for this. I'm loving it. Just because you're waiting. You're waiting for. It's gonna be some stupid shit where I'm like, sure, whatever. I don't care. Like, I don't care if it's clever. I don't care if it's stupid.
Yeah, I was hoping it was stupid, not gonna lie.
Yeah, and it was. Cushion backpack.
Trigger card. And then he says, my favorite line in the entire film is just, luckily I had my giant airbag with me. Because of course he just has that on him somewhere.
And yeah, of course I had to pretend to be dead for a while everyone mourned around me. Of course I did. It was the love of the game, man. It's the love of the game. Zenigata's bawling his eyes out. See, again,
he fully resigns. Like, he quits. He's done.
Man's done.
That's his purpose now. What is he gonna do? Catch normal criminals? Fuck that.
No.
Yikes.
The whole sequence in like the factory, they escape, and it's, oh my god, he was the priest. How long has he been the priest? I don't care. Frankly, I don't care.
There was no priest.
I don't care. They tried to establish, oh, he's just really good at special effects makeup. Sure, you know, I'll take it.
Yeah,
whatever.
That tracks for Lupin.
Yeah, that tracks. Makes a whole room of people suddenly look exactly like him. Tracks.
Yeah.
Tracks. Fully tracks to me. Hell yeah.
Which are fun fact.
I didn't even know if that was like him just like doing all that like practically, or Goemon, or not Goemon, Zenigata was just seeing shit.
Fun fact, most of those Lupins are Lupins from like movies, TV specials, episodes. But the Cagliostro ones in there, like the bandaged up version of him from the Cagliostro scene where he's like pretending to be the ghost or something like that is there in the background and stuff like that. So that's really, I thought that was really cool.
It's a neat little touch.
Yeah.
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 And then we get to the island.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
island.
say. Is the longer this went on, and it stuck to New York, I was like, oh, I think this is gonna be
so
like
fun.
a really great Lupin, because we've never really stuck to one location specifically. It's always been globetrotting adventures, which can work, or it can be Island of Assassins, where there's a central location and then shit's just happening, and you can't really keep connected all the time to it. And here it was like, oh, we've got this location that I think everyone, no matter where you are in the world, has some understanding of as a location. You know, you've got the iconic places like the Twin Towers. Which you see in the background.
There's a beautiful shot of that plane going.
But then
I was so scared. I was like, too close.
But you've got
not there.
You see Central Park, then you see the financial district where there's that scene with the plane where you're like, oh no.
Oh no.
Not yet.
But it's it's set in a very iconic location that I think everyone around the world can reasonably track and understand in their head. And it's like, oh, this is cool. Like, there's a lot of locations in New York that you could set an entire Lupin story in, and it not feel like it gets stale. It can still be fun. It can still be the big sort of heist flick that it was kind of set up to be, with that noir aesthetic, which is perfect for New York.
Yeah.
And then you hit the midpoint, and they leave.
Let's go to an unambiguous European island. Where?
To the Mediterranean.
We're gonna steal oil from the oil rig next door and put on a whole front, but the story's gonna stop dead for that whole
product.
That's so fucking stupid.
Legit, my notes end there because I was just kind of like,
the story just stops and like nothing's really going on for a long time, and then it has like 4 endings.
All its momentum. Yeah. I don't think I was paying attention by the end. I was just so disappointed because I was having such a good time, and then I was like, okay, oil rig, haha, Lupin's pretending, and they're gonna get them, and then it just kept fucking going.
Yeah.
And it lost me.
The actual like climax is so quick too. Like, again, to bring up Island of Assassins, like that went on a bit too long, but it was a good chunk. And then there's this where it just
fucking end.
It just happens, and then there's like another 15 minutes of them sitting around and like having conversations. And like, I appreciate the final conversation Lupin has with what's her name? The hot chick.
Sandy.
Not Sandy.
Sandy's a singer.
Yeah. Cynthia, the boss woman. Like that.
The girl boss.
I appreciate that conversation at the end, but it came after the point where the pacing already had gone from the classic bell curve to just, it had stopped, because they had that scene where Fujiko runs back from the taxi again. It's a callback, and then you expect the credits to roll. And then that scene,
don't.
And it's like, oh, okay, should have done that scene first and then the Fujiko callback.
Yeah,
because that's
been... generally what one does.
Yeah,
you end on the silly callback. Remember?
Yeah, and like they get surrounded by Interpol and NYPD, and then they scatter and run away, and it's like that's a classic Lupin ending, and then there's a whole scene after that. Okay.
Yeah. Also, I have to say, Jigen just dropping his gun, I don't buy it.
Yeah.
That's the only part where I was like, oh, come on. This is just you needing this to happen for the plot.
Yeah. There was like, I was paying attention to that whole entire first half. And then like, Lupin gives him his gun, and I'm like, wait, why?
Why?
And then like Lupin dies and he goes and gets like a different gun, and I'm like, but why? And he mentions like losing his other gun, and I'm like, when? When did you
you
do
were
that?
given one. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
when did you lose that gun? Like, now I'm realizing you haven't had it this entire movie. But when did you lose it? Did I miss a scene even though I've been paying attention? And I
Yeah.
genuinely don't
Yeah.
know if I did miss something even though I was paying attention, or if they were just like, yeah, no, that happened off screen. We're not gonna explain it.
He drops his own gun when they jump on the elevator.
Ah,
So
okay.
Lupin gives him his.
Yeah.
But
Lupin,
I
he
don't.
gives Lupin his back. That's when he gets killed, air quotes.
Yeah.
And then
But by that point, Lupin has the gun back.
Yeah.
Before he gets killed.
Yeah. So Lupin dies with his gun, and
Yeah.
then Jigen needs to go get another one, and then they randomly encounter at some point later the guy who has Jigen's gun, and Jigen gets his gun back. It's such a pointless part of the movie that adds nothing. It just confused me the entire time. I was like, I don't really know why we're doing this.
No.
Because it would make sense if this was a Jigen-focused movie, but it's not.
No.
So it's not digging into Jigen's character and his whole gunslinger persona. That would make sense. It doesn't make sense here, where this is very much an ensemble Lupin movie.
Yes.
It's not about
Absolutely,
any one of these characters in particular, compared to...
Which I think it's where Lupin, I think, shines the best.
Yes, yeah.
Because when he becomes the main character, he unfortunately becomes insufferable.
Yeah, I think that's why it's like I think one of the few that really strikes the best balance between cool Lupin and goofy Lupin. You know, we always talk about like when they lean too much into the cool Lupin and things either become boring or, like you say, he becomes a bit insufferable. And he loses all that kind of charm. Whereas here's it's like it manages to use that noir aesthetic that it's got going until they go to the fucking Mediterranean, to kind of be funny but also make him cool at the same time, and I really appreciated that. And again, I wish they had just done that for the whole fucking movie and not why did they why
they could have said it was on Liberty fucking Island, and I would have been like, sure, whatever, man, I'll take that.
The thing is,
have the end fight be in the Statue of Liberty.
The whole
Hell
like oil thing that happens in the second half really has nothing to do with the objective of get the heirloom thing.
But she's big businesswoman and she big bad.
Yeah.
And Lupin's never decided to operate on the same level as them before and start up his own oil baron company, even though he's gone up against, you know, Cagliostro, who was an actual, like, you know, baron with endless wealth, king, yeah, and other, you know, companies. He's gone up against that weird Saley type
you're right,
an Island of Assassins. Sorry, that's just the one we last watched, so it's most fresh in my mind. I keep referencing
Nostradamus. He was just a rich guy.
Yeah, Nostradamus was just a rich guy. He's never gone out of his way to like set up as, like, he's never done a side quest to like this to achieve the goal. It's never stopped the movie dead before. I think that's what bugs me the most, is it's like, oh, you had to stop the pacing of the movie entirely to just set up a whole setup of getting them, and then they give up anyway. Really?
Yeah, and it was still like mainly off screen. Like we didn't actually see it happen. It just sort of like we just sort of hard cut to when they've already done it.
Yeah, because we follow Zenigata trying to find them for a while they're doing all of this, and then we find out the result after Zenigata gets a lead, and it's like, oh, you clearly did not think this plot thread through enough to have anything to fill that screen time if we're jumping.
I also have to say, it is kind of like weird how like Cynthia seems like a villain that has like knows of Lupin, knows how he works, sort of understands like what she's dealing with, and then suddenly she just completely buys that he's got this company that she's dealing with now.
Yeah,
I mean, he's wearing a disguise.
I always thought that was a little weird.
I was not paying enough attention, but
I'm thinking about the scene where like he walks into their room where Fujiko is in disguise, but then he's just like, Fujiko, I'll deal with it.
Fujiko's like barely in disguise in that scene too.
I know, but like still, it's enough that I could see with this tone of movie being like, you're a completely different person. You're wearing glasses.
That's crazy.
The Clark Kent effect.
Yeah, I guess Cynthia doesn't necessarily buy it. Like, because he does immediately explain the ruse anyway. Because he walks in.
She buys it to like pay him with $100 billion.
Yeah, I think that's to get the ring though, if I recall correctly. I think it's less about like the oil and stuff like that. It was more about the ring. I think anyway.
Still, she should have known that money was going to disappear the moment that happened.
Yeah, I mean
also, wait, the ring is only good because it leads you to the brooch.
Yes.
Yes.
Why does she want the ring when she knows he solved the puzzle? He might as well torture him for the info.
Yeah, she's not that smart though, really.
No, you're right.
Ring pretty.
Yeah.
To be fair though, I think the whole like losing all her money thing comes from the fact she gives Lupin a check at some point.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
He sort of forges the rest of them. It turns out he paid the whole thing by just using her checks and cashing them, which is,
Oh, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
We're on a Mediterranean island, I guess.
Yes. Fraud.
It's just such a shame because it had such potential to be such a fun and possibly one of my favorite.
Yeah,
I think it's still up there, but it just drags.
It's still a good one. It's just it sucks that like the third act didn't really live up to the first two.
No.
Yeah, like it just should have stuck to New York and been
just
like a whole like New York crime syndicate thing. Bank of the World.
We haven't even talked about the bystander.
Oh yeah, he has no bearing on the movie like at all. He's built up as this really important secondary antagonist.
Knife throwing. He's the bad guy. He's the bodyguard.
Just
he
immediately stops showing up.
Yeah.
Just disappears.
He's literally there just to kill Lupin halfway through.
Yeah.
Which is something we've already discussed didn't really need to happen anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he did bring in Bato from Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, Knife Guy, who, I swear was in another Lupin movie outside of this one.
Wasn't he in Island of the Assassins?
Probably,
there was a Knife Guy in that too.
Always the knife
and who's
guy.
only... and whose main skill was not to cut Fujiko herself, but to cut her clothes.
Yeah. Yeah. And then her bra gets taken off by the giant magnet.
Look.
Which is... I still think that's dumb. I'm sorry. That was a bit too dumb. I know it's supposed to be The Wire. I don't care. They didn't need to do that.
No.
My immediate thought when that happened was, oh, girl, you gotta get one that doesn't have the wire in it. You gotta get better bras.
No, come on. The wire is a necessity. The wire is what makes it work.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately. Because that thing fucking hurts.
I've heard.
So do we want to score?
Yeah, let's score, because I don't think there's much else to discuss with this one.
No.
I give it a very nice 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I think I'm on the 7 side of it too. That first half, vibes are immaculate, and then it's just the same about the second half. But I still think the first half's entertaining enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm also a 7 because I loved the first half, and then it just fucking loses me.
Yeah.
And yeah. I'm rating it a 7 because I know that I'll forget about the third act.
Yeah.
In my memory, it will just be a really good movie.
As the noir New York Lupin special, and I'll completely forget about the Mediterranean arc of it.
And in my head, I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna love it, and then I'll probably recommend it to someone, and they're gonna hate it, and then I'm gonna be like, "Oh yeah,
yeah,
I forgot about that part."
But I think that can go for like most of the Lupin TV specials, especially as it's like there's good ones that have issues, and then you kind of recommend them to someone because you forget about the issues, and you're like, yeah, no, I can see why you might not like that one actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's us.
Wow.
Back
We're
from
back.
the dead.
Woo!
First episode in like a month or something. We should hopefully be back semi to normal from here
Let's
on.
hope so.
Fingers crossed.
I hope. So next week,
Yeah, cross your fingers. Cross your fingers.
I can't
hopefully.
have this one.
Yeah, I
Let's
actually
see.
can't cross my
Yeah.
fingers either. I'm the same.
You can't?
I can't do either of them. I think we've had this conversation before. I can't.
What the?
Yeah,
Have we?
yeah, I can't.
That's crazy.
There is like a certain amount of people in the world who can't do that.
Well, okay, this is crazy.
wow.
What a beautiful note to end on.
Yeah. Next week we should have a like 2025 wrap up episode. We haven't recorded it yet. We'll be recording it like 2 days before it comes out. But
Shut up.
Don't tell them
besides the
that.
point. Yeah. So hopefully that should be us back on track. I don't know what the anime episode will be after that. Probably Spy Family. Finally, part 2 of season 1.
Thank God.
And then hopefully we'll be back to recording in person. I hope. I don't know. I guess we'll find out after this.
These messages.
We shall see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how. I feel so out of practice. I don't know how to end the episode.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.